On today's music business segment, this is why I think you should release your music solely on YouTube. This is really going to perk up your ears if you are a music producer or a beat maker, but also obviously if you're making music of any kind and posting it online, this is going to appeal to you because our whole mission on this channel and our whole goal is figuring out how to get you to 6 figures annually. What I've been thinking about is what's happened with my actual clients as a real entertainment attorney, and the fact that I've heard this thing that I'm gonna tell you that you can do for yourself has happened numerous times in recent months. And so because it is so easy, I'm gonna share with you. When it comes to being a producer, a beat maker, right? You can make your beats, your instrumentals, whatever it is that you're selling, and then you can post it on third-party websites. And a lot of the popular ones, we know Beat Broker, BeatStars, Insane Beats, and some of the kind of downsides to posting your stuff on third-party websites so that other people can license it or buy it is, well, those websites might charge you money, there's going to be fees. They also might require that you have your stuff exclusively on their profile, and then it might not be a good fit for you. And then lastly, and this is something that one of my students had shared today that I thought I would also share, you can't control the license agreement, okay? When you post your stuff on someone else's platform, they're gonna have you basically use their license agreement. So that can result in issues, and I've literally had so many artists reach out to my office because they will license a song and they're like, what is this agreement that I signed that I got after the fact? So setting all of that aside, we're not going to go through third-party websites. We're going to do it for free on YouTube, okay? And this is why this works. Now, we're going to take producer number 1 as our first example. So producer number 1, real story, had uploaded a handful of songs to YouTube, right? So just uploaded them kind of one at a time. And in the description and title of the video, the tags used for the video, they were basically just describing what the song was. The songs, the instrumentals, happen to sound like certain songs that this underground popular indie artist does. And he was kind of one of the only producers that was doing this. Because obviously if you're like, hey, Drake beats, so there's gonna be a lot of people who are like, hey, you want a Drake beat? So there's a lot more competition. So what he did is he had posted these songs, and they, we're talking about maybe 80 views on a video, maybe a couple hundred at best. And lo and behold, a major artist found one of his songs because he was looking for beats that sounded like this other artist that he was trying to find. Okay, so major artist contacts him, does a deal to get the beat, and, the song ends up doing really well. And the song was released on all the music platforms. I think it got, closer to 10 million plays, not too shabby, right? So then producer is now participating in the ongoing royalties for that song. Amazing. But guess what? We talk about sync placements a lot on this show, getting your music into TV and film. So major artists ended up getting the song placed in a major commercial. And so then clients, song gets a big placement, and, person ends up making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when we're talking about life-changing, and he basically was like, life totally changed. I quit my 9-to-5. I bought a house. Producers are now contacting me, major producers. Okay, so that's example number 1. Now, how do we do this? Let's actually take a look at what this looks like. Now, I had said, if you are doing Drake type beats, there's going to be a lot kind of in the market as far as saturation. Here's one that I found. So it goes Drake type beat, right? And then there's a name, rap, trap, instrumental 2023. So this is a music producer. In the description, he has all the stuff in regards to where can you go purchase it, where, he's featuring it on BeatStars. He even puts chapters, right? So as you're going through, this is the beginning, this is the hook, this is the verse, contact information, email, and then a bunch of tags, right? So look, he's literally using these tags, Drake type beat, Drake beat, Drake instrumental. So these are the things that people are searching for when they are trying to find this type of song. Now, I'm going to point out just real quick on this because I found that a lot of people are doing this. He also just decided to, casually take some footage from, one of Drake's actual music videos. So you got to be careful about this, right? Because if you don't own the copyrighted thing, unless you fall under some fair use exception, which wouldn't really apply in this scenario, you might run into copyright issues. But in any case, so there you go. So you put it up, you have it kind of as a free advertisement, and then people can go and purchase or license your song. Seems like a reasonable strategy to get your work purchased, right? So then let's move into example number 2. Example number 2 with this particular producer, he put it up as a free beat that people could go and use on YouTube. So the way that this practically works is that someone's going to go in, they're going to be like, great, I'll download your song. And then they release their song. And essentially this is a non-exclusive limited license. Just because there's no actual written agreement, you still have an agreement that someone has put out their song, their instrumental, and said, hey, you can use it. And they might have restrictions, they might have instructions, but it's still limited. And the reason why this is not great for artists is because a producer can revoke the license at any point. So what happens? The song ends up going viral. And guess what? A major artist saw it and decided to use it. It does really well. It also gets over 8 million plays. It even wins awards. But we go back to the artist just used it. There was no written agreement. So what the producer ended up doing was coming back and saying, well, I didn't give you an actual license, therefore I want back pay. You ended up going and making likely hundreds of thousands of dollars, using it for all these things, and the artist doesn't really have anything to say. The label doesn't really have anything to say, so it becomes negotiation of what they're going to pay the producer. So with that all being said, as we're thinking about now just kind of exposure, how to market the music, well, on the flip side, you might be a producer or an artist or someone who likes to keep your music to your chest, right? And you're like, I'm not just going to put it out there for someone to steal it, right? Because on the flip side of this, you go, hey, it's a free beat. Everyone comes and takes it, right? And so if you are someone who's trying to kind of shop your stuff around more privately, you could go so far as to ask someone to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So they actually sign a contract saying, hey, I'm letting you listen to this, but you can't do anything with it until I tell you otherwise, until we sign an agreement. But for the producers who are kind of taking this tactic to post their stuff on YouTube as a way to advertise, what I am seeing them do is that they will utilize the copyright ID system, so the content ID system that is on YouTube. So what happens is that in one instance, if you go and you license a beat or you buy a beat and you upload it, and then let's say it's through CD Baby or DistroKid or TuneCore, and you have them claiming the monetization from YouTube, what they'll do is that they don't know about someone else's use of that beat. So they will go and they will attach to other songs. And sometimes they go and attach to the videos of the actual producer who made it. So, what can happen is that if you are that producer, you're getting copyright claims. And then at which point you can actually look at who claimed it, right? And so you can, find the video of the artist who used your song. You can see if that person got a license. If they didn't, you can go and contact them to get a license. So there's ways to kind of strategize this from a business standpoint of how do we get exposed? How do we get people to pick up and buy or otherwise use our beats? Because we say, I have a lot of producers who will be fine with artists using their beat as long as they are credited, right? Because they're just trying to get the brand awareness out for what they're doing. So this is your takeaway. If, for example, you go on this kind of process and you are having people use your beats and instrumentals, whether they're paid or free, then when you get these claims through YouTube for the copyright, for the monetization, make sure you push back, respond, and appeal it. Now, the good news from what I'm hearing is that by and far, most producers are able to overcome the copyright issue because they're like, actually, I own the song and this person just licensed it. But again, it's good for kind of monitoring because then you know who's using the song when it pops up online. So if you are a producer, a beat maker, or someone who just kind of posts your music online, if you found that helpful, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and definitely let me know, are you releasing your music on YouTube? Down in the comments below.